people. I see Nicole's comment already that this picture is next level goddess. I took that picture months ago. I've never used it in anything ever. So I think it's kind of funny that my team like put that up today. All right, you guys come into the chat. Tell me who you are. Tell me where you are. I am on a mission to nail our technology this time. So let me know that you can hear me. I may even do a little bit of a tech check myself, mic check myself, so I can make sure I hear myself. Can you guys hear me? You should be able to hear me fine. I hear me fine. Do you have any? Are you seeing me? Are you hearing me? Let me know in the chat, please, beloveds. And all right, great. Hey, Sheila. Hi, love. Dr. Laura's here. Hi, Nick. Dr. Laura, Sheila, amazing. Okay. Hi, April's here. Jackie's here. All right. It's an all hit crew. All right. I'm going to take the headphones off because I think you'll be able to hear me. If you have any tech problems during this session, just come into the chat and let me know. I will check the chat occasionally. All right. So let's get myself together a little bit. Okay. All right, I'm excited for today. We're going to do a little bit of a 2023 roadmap reboot. Let's see. Hi, Sheila. Hello, my love. I haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. Let's see. I just had this, as I mentioned in the email, I had this really like this wild pattern spotting experience of being in my emails, getting emails from you guys, getting WhatsApp voice memos from you guys, and them all kind of like saying the same thing. Like I'm feeling a little lost. I'm feeling a little adrift. What's funny is I had some people send that message to me on Friday, and before I could get back to them on Monday, they were like, you know what, I feel better already. Huh. And I'm like, isn't that funny? How that works. But I want to, I have a lot of stuff I want to share with you guys. I've been working on my own book, the Aligned to Millions book. And I want to make sure that I'm sharing with you the insights that I'm having that are dropping in, even as they are dropping in real time. Hey, Jess. Hey, Danielle. Good to see you guys. Hey, Jennifer from Chicago. Hello, love. So let's see. Let me tell you what I'm going to cover. I don't know if you can. Let me just check and see if this works. Okay. So what we're going to do today is this. I'm going to open sacred space like I always do, because that's what I do. I'm going to teach 3 mini things. Okay. I'm going to teach you a mini sermon, and it's called You're Not Adrift, You Are Untethered. Bam. Okay, then I'm going to teach you a mini ritual. We're going to walk through a little process of metabolizing the first quarter of the year, which I've just finished doing myself, and it's time for you guys to do too. And then we're going to do a little bit of a mini masterclass on your unique mechanism. Your unique mechanism. It's part of your signature system. And so I've been really refining some of my signature system for teaching you how to create signature assets in your business. So I'm going to share some of that with you guys today. And Bridget's here too. Awesome. You guys, this is a great group of people. Okay. And as you know, I do not usually teach to slides. You will see me go in and out of slides today, back and forth. If you see slides, you're in the right place. If you don't see slides, but you see me, you're still in the right place. There's probably nothing wrong if you don't see slides. All right. Unless I'm saying, here's a slide. Look at the slide. If you don't see it, then let me know in the chat. Okay. So I'm going to turn slides off because we're going to come into our time of opening sacred space. I'd love for you to close your eyes right where you are. Get very grounded and rooted where you are, where you be. Take 3 really deep, refreshing, cleansing, deep breaths right where you are. And pull your attention and your energies in from whatever it was you were just doing and whatever else you got to do today. This time is for you. All right. As we begin, I'll open a sacred space, and there's going to be a little moment here where I'm going to ask you to repeat a few things after me. Okay, because this session is not just me teaching. This session is actually meant to leave you with your windshield wiped a little bit from whatever the energies were from Q1. So you can still come into what, no matter what happened, whether you had the best quarter ever or your worst quarter ever, this is still, can still be your best year ever. All right. So that's what I'm setting you up for today. All right. As we come together, I give thanks for this perfect day. I give thanks for the miracles that will follow miracles and the wonders that will never cease. As we come together today, we look forward eagerly and excitedly and with great expectations for the wonders that are before us right now. We open our hearts and our minds to receive every divine resource that is flowing to us right now, knowing that we are magnets for limitless love, infinite intelligence, and the creative power that formed all worlds. We are receptacles of that. We are children of that. We are manifestations of that. That is what you are. You are a child and manifestation of source, of all that is, of divine. Don't get it twisted. So we approach this hour and this day and increasingly our lives with a radical acceptance of who we really are, radical, eager, delighted acceptance of why we're really here, and radical surrender to divine order and divine timing, knowing that both of those things are real and always are in our favor. So we invite divine order and divine timing into our lives, and we watch with wonder as a divinely laid, perfect plan and path into our, yes, visions, yes, intentions, yes, goals, and also dreams and desires light up before us. In this moment, in this day, in this session, we now allow any resistance we've ever had to any element of the divine plan for our lives to dissolve and dissipate right here and right now. You can leave it in right now. Leave it, drop it. It can fall away. We give thanks that the divine genius plan for our lives right now comes to pass under grace over calm season in perfect ways. We release all resistance to any element or stage of that plan and give thanks that right now and today and every moment and every day is an element and a stage of that plan. So we surrender ourselves to divine order and timing. We surrender our calendars to divine order and timing. All right. We declare that in the infinity of life where we are, all is perfect, whole, and complete. We no longer choose to believe in old limitations or lack. We now release the need to delay our highest good. We willingly forgive and release the past. We now begin to step from success to success, from glory to glory. We now allow divine order to be established in our minds, our bodies, and our affairs. All right, right where you are, I want you to repeat after me. I now release all resistance to my highest good. I now release all resistance to the divine genius plan for my life. I choose to see it as a treasure when I discover something new to release. I see and feel myself changing moment by moment. This moment, my life is fresh and new. I am fresh and new and vital. This is a new day. I am a new me. I think differently. I speak differently. I act differently. Other people treat me differently. Golden opportunities are everywhere for me. All is well in my world. All right, that's the end of our declarations for today. As you come back into the room, I'll just wrap up my declarations with this one. We now move into the winning circle. We now elevate to and vibrate to the frequencies of radiant health, unprecedented well-being, divine love, divine prosperity. May our brains come fully online. May our minds become fully alert and come into this present moment. May our souls be awakened even 1 degree more by the time we spend together today. And may our hearts be in maximum receptive mode as we gather together and as we learn today. All right, all is well in our world. Come back into the room. Let me know that you're here. Let me know how you are, how you feel. Wonderful crew here. Jackie's here. Bridget, hi, love. Marquita, Andrea, my girl. So we're going to go from sacred space to our little micro sermon for the day today. Ashley, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. You're so welcome. I wish you guys knew how, what a privilege I feel like it is in my heart to do these things with you. Hey, Jen, awesome. Every time I do this ritual for you, however you feel, I feel that too. So it's kind of wild blessing that I get to do this for a living. So I thank you for doing it with me. Tempest is here. Hello, beloved. Okay, so let's go into this little mini sermon. And remember, I'm calling this You're Not Adrift, You're Untethered. So do you guys remember that story I like to tell, the story of the bull in the ring, right? You guys remember that story? Let's see if we have a good bull in the ring slide. Let's see. Of course we do. We do. You know me, I got to have a little aesthetic something, little backdrop here. Hey, B, Autumn Stree. Hi, love. Demi's here. Temis, you guys are, this is amazing. Okay. This is the bull in the ring. And those of you guys who know me and who've studied with me forever know this story. I learned about this concept I'm going to share with you called the querencia, Querencia. It's a Spanish word. I learned about it in Spain, which is the home of bullfighting. The idea, to understand the querencia, you have to put yourself in the shoes of the bull, okay? Think about how a bull must feel when it's in a ring. It is trapped. It is totally out of its natural element. Like, it's probably like, what the hell am I doing here? Right? It's being poked and prodded, the crowd's jeering at it and yelling at it. The bull is just in just sheer fear and rage simultaneously, right? Because it's in reaction mode to all of these provocations. And as powerful as any bull is, a bull is like us, and that it is at its least powerful when it's in reaction mode, right? So the lore of bullfighting says that there is a little spot in the ring. And it's kind of a geographic spot in the ring, but it's also like a metaphysical spot. It's like a zone the bull can get to in its mind, where if you give the bull a chance to get to that place in the ring, to stop reacting, to take a sacred pause and to tap back into its natural strengths and natural powers, the only thing that the bullfighter should do, if that bull can get to that spot, and that spot is what we call its querencia, the only thing the bullfighter should do is get out of the way. Because they say that if you give the bull the opportunity to take that sacred pause, to stop reacting, and to tap back into its natural strength and power, the bull will do what it was made to do. And what a bull was made to do was to run over whatever the hell is in front of it. It will run through you if you are in front of it after it takes that pause. All right. You and I are like that bull. All right. We are constantly reacting to incoming demands, reacting to inner demands, reacting to our calendars, our families, our kids, our work, our clients, our goals that we set for ourselves that may or may not be our real true self goals. They might be like somebody's grandmama's goals that somebody told us we should have. That's what culture calls success. So we're in constant reaction mode. We're being pulled in all these different directions. And again, we're not in our power because we're all over the map. So a lot, and like the bull, we were created to do something too. We were created to create. We were created to have thoughts and ideas about things that don't exist, have them feel really important and inspiring and urgent to us, like it's our spiritual assignment to do that thing. And then to be able to cause these things to exist in a way that is tangible, that other people can see and feel and touch these things too. Now, if you're an entrepreneur, it's entirely possible that what you came here to create was the empire of your soul. Okay. But it's a kind of a long game, right? It's not like a one and done thing. It's not a thing you can kind of do overnight. And what I want to invite you to see is that it's an alignment game. It's a creation game, and it's an alignment game. Okay. So if probably half of you, it looks to me from the chat like we got half longtime Soul Tour students or people that are currently in our flagship Empires of the Soul program and half not. So I'm going to take this moment to just say that at Soul Tour, we have a different definition of success. We don't believe that success can be measured numerically at all. We believe that the definition of success is to know and love your true sacred self and to create a whole life that is congruent with that, including for most of us, the empire or the business, the highly aligned, highly profitable business that is an empire of your soul. And that's it. Those two things are success. So in our method, which we call we call it the Align to Millions method when we're talking about it in business, we call it the Soul Tour Self Mastery method if we're talking about your life. But there are really 3 steps to doing this process of going from being in reaction mode to creating, to living in flow mode, where you just have ideas and thoughts and turn them into real, tangible things without getting blocked or stuck, and in a life process that's joyful. So we have 3 steps. And the first step is recalibration. And the first thing I ask you to recalibrate is what you think success even is. I want you, the first thing you do to be to take a pause, stop reacting, and step into an alignment first paradigm, where the thing that becomes the most important to you is not the number of dollars in the bank. That'll happen. Promise. It's you knowing you and you creating a life that is congruent to you. And I'm talking true sacred self you, not conditioned you, not fear you, not reacting you, not the you've had to be your whole life, shoving parts of your stuff down to get external validation and the appearance of love, the real you. All right. So first you recalibrate and commit to that paradigm. Then you recalibrate your nervous system, your belief systems. We do this with daily ritual. We do this. We have all these tools and processes we do in these programs. We dissolve your money blocks, right? You start to learn empire energetics. You start to learn that actually nothing really big in this universe is created through one person swinging the hammer of hard hustle and effort on their own. All right. And in the recalibration mode, you wake up from your core trance. That's the fear-based thought habit you've been thinking longer than almost any other thought you've been thinking. We'll probably talk about that a little bit later. Second step is you actualize. You learn who your true sacred self really is using human design, using the sacred money archetypes. And once you start to learn that, you start to sort of get a new vision for what the true you really wants now that fear is no longer in the driver's seat for your life. And then if you're an entrepreneur, that's when you begin to create some alignment anchors that keep your business rooted and grounded in your unique spirit, your unique callings, your unique archetypes, your unique human design. One of those alignment anchors is what we call your signature system. And I'm going to double click on that a little bit before we end today. We'll go a little bit deeper into that. And then the last stage at Soul Tour is other people's first stage. All right. So the last stage is alignment, taking those inspired actions to actually build the business empire of your soul, to build an engine of profit and transformation, to do that by creating signature marketing assets and signature offers that integrate proven business and marketing methods and models we know work with you. You're unique with the transformational genius of you, iconically you. All right. So that's context. So I had this call yesterday with a client. What are we going to call her? We will call her Jean. All right. Her name is not Jean, but we will call her Jean for this. All right. So she is a genius because most of the people who work with us actually are geniuses. She came to my Upgrade annual event in the fall, which was one of Soul Tour's signature marketing assets. We started working together. We started working on this roadmap together for her business. Her business, like many Soul Tour clients who are incoming, especially to the emerging empires part of our business. She was having a little bit of a challenge with where she lived, and the people who were coming into her business as a result of where she lived were not exactly her best fit customers. They were people she loved working with and serving, but there were some other ways in which they were like, just a little bit out of alignment with the vision for her empire. And like many of us at the beginning of the year, she kind of wrote up this vision, a beautiful vision. And there was like a little bit in the vision about her business, but there was a lot in the vision because we don't believe that business and life are separate. So, when we create vision at Soul Tour, guide our clients to, we just create vision for your life, right? So there was a little bit in her vision about her business, but there was all this beautiful, like very rich emotion and emotion and evocative like imagery about how she wanted to feel in her home and how she wanted to feel in her marriage and how she wanted to feel in her friendships and how she wanted to feel in her everyday life, like in her everyday activities in life. And then she also had like a numeric target for her business, but she had all this like beautiful richness around these other topics. So I had a conversation with her yesterday. And she was like, gosh, it's kind of funny. I don't really feel like I've been doing a ton of my business, but all of this stuff is just dropping into alignment in my life. Her husband got a new job in a new town. They saw this house that was kind of perfect for them, but seemed out of price range. And she went into it and was like, there were all these signs that it was for her. So they made this offer that seemed kind of crazy, but it is all like lining up and coming together and got accepted. And so interestingly, the same kind of process is happening with her business partner. They're both like making these big geographic moves that are radically aligned to their true selves and what their true selves really desire, right? But she was like, I haven't really been doing too much in the business. And I was like, but what if you have? What if all of our steps are recalibrate, actualize, align? What if what you've been doing is recalibrating to what your true self really, really wants? What if what you've been doing is saying yes to letting yourself want the fullness of what you really, really want? Because you know what, guys? We don't just do business for the sake of hitting these abstract, like numeric targets. We do business so that we might live the lives that we were born to live, right? So what if all of these things that you've been doing that are recalibrating your life are exactly the shifts that your business needs too, right? Just what if? And I kind of watched her face be like, oh my gosh, I've been doing it. I've been doing it. Yeah, girl, you've been doing it. All right. And this is especially very, very appropriate, very, very relevant to people who have a lot of manifested energy. So if you're a manifester or manifesting generator, or projected energy, if you're a projector or reflector. So you may, especially projectors, especially reflectors, some of us actually bloom. The idea of blooming wherever you're planted literally does not apply to every type of person in the human design system. Some of us actually need to be in the right place, in the right energies geographically around us, and around the right people for us to step into like the opportunities and perfect place, perfect time moments that will actually allow us to create the empires of our souls. That is not, so it's not an excuse for everyone. Some people actually will see how their snap together season just starts to fall into their laps when they make the geographic move or start being around the right people for them. So there are 3 stories that I just hear over and over again at this time of year. I hear entrepreneurs say, I hit the ground running in January. I tried a bunch of new things. They didn't really work yet. So they're probably not the right thing. So maybe I should give up. Okay, that is a lie of the inner critic. It is also an upper limit storyline. The second thing I hear people say is, I tried a bunch of things. This is one I say all the time, every year. Gosh, I hit the ground running. I tried a bunch of things, and they actually probably are the right things, but they're taking a long time to get all the way going. And I'm so tempted to just add another launch into my plate and add this and add this and add this. It may sound like it's more positive or something, but it is another way of self-distraction and self-sabotage. All right. It's another way where you're actually in resistance to divine order and timing because you're not really letting things just take the time they take. All right. And the third story I hear from entrepreneurs at this time of the year all the time is, well, I was going to try a bunch of things in my business and I set all these intentions and visions, but then a bunch of big changes started happening in my life. I'm not exactly sure why I can't make them happen in my business. Right. And like I said to my client yesterday, or maybe these are the changes that needed to happen in your business. Maybe you're doing it exactly freaking right. All right. So no matter which story of those you relate to, all of these storylines kind of present with the same problem feeling, which is I'm feeling adrift. I'm feeling lost. I'm feeling out of sorts. I'm feeling like I'm not sure what I'm doing or where I'm at in my business or why I'm even in business. I'm feeling confused. So I want to come against that interpretation of that feeling, and I want to offer you a new lens. What if you're feeling untethered? What if untethered is uncomfortable, but it's also really freaking liberated, right? It's really freaking empowered to make choices that are not driven by external validation, to make choices that are not driven by what somebody's grandma said, what your ancestor thought would have been success. No, you actually get, when you are untethered, it's disorienting, but it's also empowering. You get to make choices from true sacred self level. And if you haven't been doing that for your whole life, which most of us haven't, it feels strange and it may even feel hard. Right? It may feel like, gosh, this is hard work to figure out what the freak you're going to do with your life and with your year and with every day when you're not just checking boxes on some cultural success treadmill. But I am here to tell you that you're not confused. You are untethered and you are disoriented. Now, I like the word disoriented because I think it captures the feel that we feel in this stage of creating our own empires. I like the word disoriented because I like the visual of there is a divine genius plan for your life. There is a map. There is a map and you were somewhere on it. Okay. And at some point, you decided you wanted to get off the preset track part of the roadmap that you were on, right? And instead, you decided to surrender to your true self and you decided to get in alignment with divine order and divine timing. And you know what divine order and timing do? They pick you up from wherever you were on the path and they set you down somewhere you've never been before. And where they set you down, there's not a preset checklist blueprint like there was when you were on this other cultural success track. So it looks strange here, right? You never been here before. It feels strange here. And oh, by the way, it might be exactly where you've always wanted to be. All right. So if you've been living on the cultural success treadmill, ticking off boxes, you got the degree, went to grad school, married the whoever, had the, one boy, one girl, whatever your version of that was, if you've been living on that treadmill for a lifetime and you decide to step off, if you've been committed to your comfort zone or you've been playing small for a really long time and you make the commitment, you graduate yourself, you make the commitment to your greatness. This is what happened to those people who came to Upgrade in October. That's why they were all feeling disoriented, because you made the commitment to step into your greatness and to step into playing at the level you came here to play. And that is disorienting. Waking up from your core trance. If you have been under the influence of fear or scarcity, unworthiness, or trauma for a lifetime, and you begin to wake up from that trance, it's super disorienting. It's like getting glasses when you've never had glasses before. And you're like, oh shit, all these leaves were out here all this time. Right? You drop an amen in the chat if you've had that experience. Deconditioning yourself from that perform, conform, produce culture is disorienting. Recalibrating is disorienting. Actualizing is disorienting. Aligning is disorienting. Disorienting doesn't mean it's bad. It just feels weird because you're in a new land and you don't have the map yet. And in fact, nobody else has that map. But there are tools. There are tools you can use to know that there is a navigational system you can tap into. So I'm going to talk about that in a second. What I want to make sure I say, especially for, Empires people, LSM people, Soul Tour people, is that there is a little micro stage between recalibrate and actualize that I never talk about, and I need to call out a name today. I call it the untethering. All right. Between recalibrate and actualize, you've recalibrated out of your fear. You're recalibrating out of your core trance. You're recalibrating out of the perform, conform, produce, the lie that you can produce your way out of bad things happening to you. Right. And the opposite of all that fear, like spinning plate, trying to live as the director of the universe to prevent bad things from happening to you, that kind of fear. When you come out from under that, you always hear people say the opposite of fear is love. The opposite of fear is not love. The opposite of fear is trust. The opposite of fear is trust. I'm talking about trust in the laws of the universe. I'm talking about trust that everything is actually always working out for you. And if it's not working, if something is not working the way that you wanted it to, even that is working out for you. Trust that divine order is working in your favor, even though it's not linear or logical. Trust that divine timing is working out in your favor, even though sometimes it will delay you. Trust that even your delays are beneficial to you. Okay, so when you recalibrate out of that fear and start trying on living against a backdrop of trust, it's very natural and normal and common and good to actually feel untethered for a minute. A minute might be a year. A minute might be a month of every year for the rest of your life. It just is whatever time it needs to be. But that's what I'm calling this disorientation. It's like, oh, I was living on a track. It's like when I went to law school. I went to law school when I was like 20 years old, 22 years old, 16 when I started college. I was 20 when I started grad school. I was 22 when I started law school. I went to law school when I was 22 years old because I didn't know what else to do with my life. And it felt like that it's a track. It's a track. It felt like I didn't have to I had 2 little kids, right? I was trying to get my personal shit together. It felt like I can just slot myself into this track and they'll just tell me what to do, and I know I'm a performer, so I can, like, be good at whatever they tell me how to do. It's a track. It's a track, and you don't have to think about what to do. You don't have to tune into what's in here. Externals will tell you what to do, and you can just perform. So it's untethering when you decide that that's not gonna be your life anymore, because it begets this question: what am I going to do with this one wild and precious life now that fear is no longer running the show and I'm not looking to other people or culture to tell me what to do? All right. So that's the untethering. And um and it's and you know you have the tools to surf the ugh of it so that you can sit in the uncertainty of it and allow the downloads of clarity to drop in as they drop in. And you also have access to GPS. You also have access to your to decision rules you can rely on. You do have access to come to know your true self with your archetypes and your human design. You do have access to your human design strategy and authority and maybe other energies in your human design chart. You do have access to your inner guidance system, which will tell you with the feeling of shackles on or shackles off whether to move in that direction or not. If it feels shackles on, do not do it, period. I don't care how good an idea it is. I'm not telling this story today, but I will one day tell you the story of I've at least twice, 2 notable times, I have turned down 7 figures in either investment money or like bonus and salary because like it was the shackles on my spirit was so hard. I couldn't even overrule it for literally millions of dollars. And every time what was coming to me just after that was more money than I was even being offered. All right. So you can change your action plan if you need to. You can change your goals as you need to, but never overrule or override that shackles off in your spirit, shackles on in particular, feeling in your spirit. And when you're not sure whether to do something or not, sit with it. Does this feel shackles on, shackles off? All right. You do have tools like your daily ritual, the one we do in Empires, the one we do in LSM, like journaling, like asking Infinite Spirit to show you the way every day, you know? And I want to close the mini sermon piece with just a reminder about the first of the 4 agreements, right? Which is to be impeccable with your words, which does not mean to just like do what you say you will do. It means to understand the power of your words to speak life or death over people and over ideas, aspirations, your creations. All right. So I am bringing that up because the story you're telling about why you feel disoriented matters. The stories we tell are what transform things from possibilities in the quantum field into tangible consensus reality. So if you keep telling the story that do not, so I'm not even gonna say it that way. Stop affirming confusion. Stop affirming I'm adrift. Okay. I want you to tell the story. I'm untethered, which is the same as I'm liberated. And I'm getting clearer every day about what my true self really wants and what my natural next steps really are. And I'm committed to taking those shackles off, natural next steps into my callings as they light up. All right. So especially if you were at Upgrade in October or you're in Empires, we spent the first part of this year recalibrating. That's what we were doing. All right. So it's about time that you should feel a little untethered. If you do, you're doing it right. All right. But I want you to remember that you don't just create through work. You create through attraction. You create through your alignment with divine order. You create through vibrational alignment with source, spirit, and all that is. You create through alignment with your true self and coming to know your true self. So your creations and the way they come out of possibility and into reality, they're not always going to be logical and linear. The most, like my client I was telling you about, Jean, the things you create the most powerfully are going to be the ones you create through vision, desire, intention, speaking the word, writing the vision and making it plain, and getting into alignment with that, which, if you want to supercharge that, just stop participating in other shit that's not in alignment with what you desire. All right. And then let the divine handle and light up the how. All right. And remember that what you're creating when you create your empire is not just a revenue target, y'all. It's a whole life. It's a whole life you love to look at. It's the life you were born to live. All right. And remember this other thing, that when you commit to alignment with your true self, with your sacred callings, with your desires, with your empire, it kickstarts a cosmic butterfly effect of alignment. So things that are in your life that are not in alignment will get uncomfortable and frictiony and fall by the wayside, or they'll have to be recalibrated and reset. There are some people and some relationship patterns and some ways you spend your time and some ways you speak your words that cannot come with you into your empire. There are and maybe it's some places you live can't come. They can't. Sometimes, that's just how it is. But it's a small cost for you to let the empire of your soul out of your soul and into real life. So part of what happened with that client is she got so crystal clear, not even in just an imagery vision way, in a how it feels way. She got so clear on how she wanted to feel, what she wanted to do every day, what kinds of people she wanted to be around, how she wanted her marriage to feel, how they wanted to experience life together. And this person is a person who has a history of trauma. Many of us have trauma as our core trance. It was also my core trance. And I think part of what I've observed happen with her is that as she began doing the deep work of healing and integrating her trauma enough to release the need to armor and protect herself in the way she had done in the past, it was like her true self, which is actually the voice of the divine in you. You are a manifestation of that, so it's in you. It was like her true self started to set really untraumatized desires and expectations and vision, healed desires. Because a lot of the wording, the phrasing that she was using when she was sharing with me what her vision had been around that, it was like and I don't think she knew she was doing it, but I did point it out to her. A lot of the words for the emotions she wanted to feel that are the ones that have called forth what she's creating right now, they were all like the opposite of trauma. It was all like about grounding and rooting in and connecting, and how she would like all of those energies. So it's not like she's making this move to heal. It's like she's been healing all this time. And this move is just evidence of her freshly healed heart and her true self's desire, right? And I believe and predict over her and over many of you that the things that have been happening in your personal life is just it's like one domino in a wild domino effect of alignment to your true self, right? So the business will also come. But what I asked her to do is what I want you to do. And I'm going to start to shift into the micro ritual. I want her and I want you to get just as specific as she was about her desired emotions and the desired ways of being that she wanted to have in her life and friendships and relationship and home. I want her to get that specific about how she wants, about her business desires, how she wants her nervous system to feel every day in her business, how she wants to feel as she does her everyday activities in her business. You don't know exactly how it's going to play out. You don't know exactly how it's going to look, but I believe that that's the most rapid way that we attract what it is that we desire, even in our businesses. So, for her, she'll make this move geographically, and I don't know what it's going to look like, but she'll meet somebody there that's important in her business. She'll have a pivotal idea there. Maybe her business partner will get some like breakthrough opportunity for them wherever she's moving. You just don't know exactly what it's going to look like. And that's not your job. Your job is to set the desire, allow yourself to want what you really want, and then take the natural next steps. Let the process take the time it takes. Let it play out in divine order and divine timing. Okay. Are y'all with me? All right. I'm going to just check back at the chat. Yep. It's definitely disorienting. All right. Laura Wolf is here. B. Arthur is here. This is great. Sheila's. Yes, a lot of us have lived the Trek life, haven't we, Dr. Laura? Okay, and yes, you're getting clearer every day. Affirm that. Affirm that. Affirm that. Okay, so what I want to do is walk you through a micro ritual here. Let's see. I'm really bad with back and forth between slides and me. I'm going to walk you through a little bit of a ritual to metabolize your first quarter of the year. Let me see if I have anything else I want to say about that before I give you prompts. Okay, so what I want to do, I want to invite you to take a sacred pause, just like the bull in the ring, okay? Now, there's a reason that, if you've been employed in corporate, there's a reason that businesses do quarterly retreats or quarterly planning, or if you come from the tech world like I do, OKRs, where every quarter there's like a ceremony or ritual around revisiting where you are. I want you to do that too. Can you do it if you don't have a business? Hell yeah. Most of the prompts I'm going to give for that today, though, are for entrepreneurs. So here are my instructions. They're really freaking simple. First, get to a place where you can hear yourself think. That may mean you need to clear your calendar for half a day or a day. It may mean you go away to someplace else. It's great if you can get a little change of scene and be somewhere that's inspiring, be somewhere where your signal runs a little clearer, where you don't have adorable little kidlet hands pulling on you. London is forever trying to climb into my body. She saw this video of a kangaroo crawling into its mama's pouch, and she's like, that's me. I'm like, yeah, girl, that is you. So I want you to get to a place where you can hear yourself think, give yourself a half a day or a full day, and take a sacred pause. That's the ritual. You're going to take a sacred pause and you're going to metabolize the year. And make it, if you can, make it be like an artist date. If you know that, the Julia Cameron construct of an artist date, make it be like a little inspiring. Maybe you read something beautiful at the beginning. Maybe I always want things to smell nice. So I have like signature candles I burn, wear things that are cozy, make yourself feel like you're wrapped in cashmere, whether you like cashmere or not. And the visual for this is, I want you to think about how your body metabolizes food. Okay? Like it chews food up, and in your mouth, it starts releasing enzymes to break the food down. And from that very moment begins this process of your body extracting what will nourish it from the food. And also from that moment begins the process of eliminating the waste, discarding what no longer serves you, right? Discarding what might even be actively harmful to you. Thanks be to your liver. Y'all should know I'm like a fan of the liver. It's my favorite organ. And that's how you can and should metabolize what's happening in your business, in your life. I think you can learn to do this in real time all the time. Like when I go to bed, I literally use this visual of vacuuming. I'm vacuuming all the other people's energies out. I'm vacuuming out things that mentally I'm vacuuming out of my subtle body, my energy body, my spirit. Anything that's not mine, I'm vacuuming it out, or anything that just was like unwanted and is lingering, ruminations, you know, unwanted things that happened, whatever. I vacuum that stuff out and then I list my 10 favorite things that happened that day every single night. That's what I want to call forth into the next day. It's my universal, like, more please, more please, source, more please, universe. That's me placing the cosmic order for what I want more of in the next day. So you can do that in real time, all the time, every single day of your life, and you should. But a quarter is a great point to stop, press pause, and do it in your business. Keep what nourishes you and eliminating the rest. And what this does is kind of stop that, like, well, one thing it does is it stops the guesswork when you're like, because it's wild. Sometimes we'll feel, depending on your core trance, you may feel a little faily in your business, even when you're actually not that faily. Like, I knew that we had our best year of business ever, but I was like, now we got to work on like profitability. And then I did a financial look back yesterday with our CFO, and she was like, no, we're like profitable at 25%. I'm like, okay, great. Right? So you want to kind of stop the spiral, and it helps to accelerate you out of that feeling of just wandering disorientation and into a place where you're starting to think, where you're starting to get concrete about what's next, get back to clarity about what's next. Now, I didn't even have this plan to tell you, but anytime I ever am feeling like, ugh, in a lingering way in my business, I've set my business up in a very specific way. It's the way that I teach in Empires. It's the way that I'm writing it in the ATM book, the Align to Millions book. So my financials work out well with this because of the way I've set my business up. But if I shift out of thinking about me and my business and shift into thinking about what would create the best outcomes for my client, if I shift my focus to that, it's basically like a Buddhist, like compassion or like loving kindness meditation practice, but just for business. So if you shift out of thinking about yourself and into thinking about, okay, wait, the thing I care about the most is the transformation I create for my customers. What would my decisions be? What if all I was worried about was operating at the highest level of my industry and creating the very best outcomes for my clients? It immediately, like, you like literally cannot dwell in low vibration if you do that. All right, so here's the prompt. I do have some prompts for you. Okay, so I want you to kind of start out with like asking yourself, and I don't care if you know this year was your best year in business, this should be really fun. I don't care if you think this was the worst year ever in business. I don't care if you haven't ever charged a client $1 in business and you're still trying to figure out what the hell your business is. I still want you to do this prompt. Okay. You want to list out the things that happened this year so far, the lessons you've learned so far, the experiences you've experienced so far this year that made you healthier or happier or wiser or clearer. And this is part of a practice that we teach in the life, self, and money mastery part of the business, including in Empires, but also in just sheer LSM, where we baptize it all success, where we know that we're living in experimentation mode all the time. So when we tried something and it didn't work out the way we wanted, those are the things that are often trying to get us information and energy and treasure troves of clarity about what's next or about what we really want. All right. And you have to keep in mind as you do these prompts that your brain alerts to fearful or sad or terrible or unwanted things about 5 or 6 times, right? More with about 5 or 6 times more fidelity than it does happy or sweet or lovely or peaceful things. So you may have to really work, especially if you don't feel like you've hit the results you've wanted in the business this year so far. You may have to work hard, right, to find the spiritual nutrition out of what has happened in the last quarter. But I encourage you to dig deep, find it. All right. Okay. And then I want you to do the flip side. What did you discover this year that no longer serves you, or that you're ready to move on from, or you don't want any more of, or you're ready to release? Let me see. Do you have these? Yeah. What play small patterns did you find? Like I found this pattern of when I'm building a long-term like asset in my business, I often will try to distract myself I'll often tell myself the story it's taking too long. And I'll distract myself with like, I'm going to just run a quick launch for this in the middle. Right? What are your play small patterns? What are your self-sabotage patterns? Once you see them, they do not have literally just seeing them deactivate some of the power they have over you. What are your relationship patterns? What kinds of clients do you go get in desperation and then always regret that you got? What kind of thinking habits, emotional habits, fears? What are you still participating in that is inconsistent with your true desires? All right. That's that section. Then I want you to, especially if you're an entrepreneur, just take some time and answer some granular business questions. All right. Like what's working, what's not working? Are you doing too many manual launches and not focusing enough on creating assets in your business? What clients and projects and energies do you want more of? Which do you want less of? Let me see if I can actually maybe drop this set of, sorry. I was going to see if I could copy paste this for you into the chat. See how it goes. Okay. I did copy paste it into the chat. If you're on Facebook, you may not be able to see this. If you are on YouTube, you should be able to see it. And if you're in Empires, I'll make sure that this is in Kajabi when you log in to watch this replay. Yeah, like what are you spending your time doing all day, every day in your business? And then where are you on the roadmap for the year? So one thing I did want to point out to people who are in Empires is you have a roadmap because I gave it to you. Because literally every one of you in Empires, maybe there were like 2 or 3 people whose I didn't do personally, but because you were at the beginning of the program, I almost touched every one of them myself. Where are you on the roadmap? So if you're feeling untethered, look at your roadmap, right? If you're not sure what to do next, look at your roadmap. Ask yourself, based on what you were able to do so far this year and what you weren't, do you need to start doubling your timelines, your deadlines? Do you need to start tripling them? Do you need to start cutting your task lists in half? Do you need to make one big bet instead of doing a lot of incremental shit, right? That doesn't really move the needle. Do you need to expand your capacity to receive support? Do you need to learn how to delegate better? Do you need an assistant or another assistant? I'm in the process of getting my second assistant. And I'm not talking about Cosette. I'm not talking about, and we are actually doing for upgrade this year, we probably will have 2 or 3 times the number of people will create upgrade this year compared to last year, right? We have an experienced designer now. We have someone who's going to be kind of like the boss of upgrade, and then she will have an assistant. Like it's just going to be a different level of thing because we're targeting 3 times the people attending upgrade this year. What shadows have you seen of your own? What patterns have you seen of your own? Do your financial look back. What worked? What didn't work? What spending worked? What investments worked? Where, and that was for us, I think, the CFO kind of was like, oh, hey, like the reason you don't feel like there's cash is because you invest a lot, but it's appropriate and you're investing in, assets, which will, ultimately next year, I won't have to make that same investment. They're one-time investments. What are your desires? How do you desire to feel in your business, in your life? What do you desire to create? Who do you desire to work with? And how do you want to feel as you do this work? And then, I'm always going to ask the question, what's not in alignment? What do you want and need? And in particular, who do you already know that can help? I find that a lot of times when I feel untethered because I'm recovering from I'll do it myself syndrome. Anybody relate? When I feel overwhelmed or untethered or unclear about what to do next, a lot of the time for me, I can pull out and be like, wait a second. I need to ask Cosette to do this. I need to ask Lori to handle this. I need to ask, Tanya to handle that. I need to talk to Christine about this. I need to check in with, you know what I mean? Like take things off your plate. As you guys know, I'm a projector in the human design system and I live my design. So I make an effort, or my target is to delegate 80% of the work that's on my plate in every week. So when I feel overwhelmed or buried, often it's because I'm not hitting that target. And often there's always already a bunch of people around waiting to help. And in my world, a lot of those people are paid, but some of them aren't. You guys have heard me tell the story about I had my whole amazing audio podcasting set up or in my house in boxes for a year before I was like, who can I call to do this? And remembered one of my friends is married to a guy who like loves nothing more than this kind of project. And I mean, I asked her on like a Tuesday if he would do it, and on Saturday it was done. Right? You like the Black Godfather says, I don't have problems. I have friends. All right. Now we're going to shift into the mini masterclass. I'll probably keep you for another 20 or minutes ish, maybe. Oh, Marquita, hi, love. Yes. So if you're a projector, yes, it should be about who making sure you're delegating appropriately to your team. But real talk, you don't even have to have a team necessarily, and it doesn't have to be all paid people. People desire to help you. They do. People love to be part of a thing. You know what I mean? Especially if they're in their expertise. So see who might be able to help you that isn't even necessarily requiring money. Okay. So now let's go to our mini masterclass. Oh, right. Right. Oh. Before I end, I want to make sure that as you come out of your ritual, that you are setting yourself a clear reset roadmap for your year. All right. I want you to still have the intention of what would the roadmap be into your best year ever, starting now. I've mentioned to some of you before, we have had the best year in business we've had ever. We are at 4x. Right now, we're at 4x what we did in 2021, in part because of a chain of events that happened based on my human design and following my human design strategy. And the chain of events that specifically led to our increased revenue started May 8th of 2022. Okay. So in less than a year, part of what happened was I created a signature marketing asset. That is our annual event, Upgrade. And if you're in Empires or you come into Empires, I teach a session there on how to crack the code on money-making live events. All right. This year, I'm also investing in creating a signature marketing asset. That's my Align to Millions book. It's what, if you're in Empires, I teach the strategy of growth books and brand books. In fact, if you're in Empires and you're doing a growth book, which is what Align to Millions is, I'm thinking about creating like a small group within the group, kind of like a success squad of people who are just doing the growth book strategy. And we can kind of get you some extra templates and some extra help because there's some complexity to it. Let me know if that's of interest to you or if you want to be in that success squad. But you know the deal. As soon as you opt into it, stuff will start to happen. So buckle up. But if you want to be in that success squad on a book, creating a book that grows your business, and you're in Empires or you want to be in Empires, you can. If you're in Empires, just email me directly. If you want to be in Empires and you want to be working on a growth book strategy, you should book a call with Lori, who is our possibility and enrollments guru. And you can book a call with her at soultour.com/breakthrough call. I'm going to put this. Andrea, your book is not actually the book that I know about is not actually a growth book, it's a brand book. You can still be in it, but just so you know, I think of you as in slightly separate thing. Dr. Laura, your book would be a growth book. Let's see, Nick Frick is here. Her book is a growth book. Someone, I'm not sure if Megna is here. If she would be doing a growth book. There are some of you who we've already talked about this, or it's even on your roadmap. Okay, so let me go into what I want to wrap up with. Okay, so Align to Millions. And Align to Millions, again, is about this recalibrate, actualize, align strategy, and then actually building the empire of your soul, building the business on these pillars of signature, a signature system, a signature marketing asset, and signature offer. All right. This is the same process that we will work with you through, holding your hand if you desire, in Empires of the Soul. Okay. So let me get you clear on what I'm talking about when I say signature. Then we're going to double click on one point of signature system. All right. All right. So after you recalibrate to a place where your like paradigm is an alignment first paradigm where you're committed to living and creating your business in congruence with your true sacred self. But before you can actually start creating marketing and products that are aligned to your true sacred self, like these are like, they seem like really different things. There has to be a moment where you tether or anchor your business marketing messages and products by grounding and rooting it in your own unique transformational genius, spirit, personality, and magic. Something has to connect those two things, or you do what I see happen all the time. I see basically people creating shadow empires. People coming in, I've told the story before of the client who was like, I want to be a meditation teacher. I can like visualize like this and this kind of what I'm wearing and this place that I'm in, the people. And then like, okay, so to do that, I'm going to like pitch these tech companies, like disconnect, misalignment, abort plan. Like, nope, those don't go together. Right. So because most of us we're so conditioned to perform, conform, produce. Many of us are high performers or were high performers in corporate that rewarded us for being in our zone of excellence. So if you don't have that through line that connects your unique transformational genius to your actual products and marketing, you generally end up creating a shadow of the empire of your soul. And some people do that. Some people do it very successfully. And then you hear them, do the live about how they burnt out in their business and they're blowing it all up because they actually created some shit they hate. All right. So we're not going to do that. We don't do that here. So I want to pre-pave the way kind of for you to do this connection. And to do that, I kind of have to take you into a new paradigm. And this paradigm is the signature asset paradigm. So just think signature. Signature is how you fill the U-shaped hole in the marketplace, in your industry, and in your best fit customers' lives. All right. Signature assets, the ones that are core to creating the empire of your soul in the Align to Millions method that I teach in Empires of the Soul at souldoor.com. Signature assets are unique to you, branded containers for organizing, communicating, productizing, and delivering your personal story, your spirit, your genius, and most importantly, the transformation that you create the way only you can create it. All right. They're how you make the specific transformation that you create in your business so tangible and so personally relevant to your best fit customers, pain points, and dream outcomes that they literally love to invest in themselves by working with you. All right. So if you want to have a 6-figure business or a 6-figure per month business and still spend most of your day in your zone of genius, working with people you love, working with people who love you, You will need to create these three kinds of core signature assets I keep talking about: your signature system, your signature marketing asset, and your signature offer. All right. Now, I want to double click today. Well, let's see. Do I want to go to signature system yet? Let me know if this makes sense to you. All right. Um, the power of signature, seriously, give me a thumbs up or a yeah girl or a preach sister or something in the chat if this makes sense to you. And if it doesn't, also let me know. The power of signature is that we're all in transformation businesses. Some of us are realtors, lawyers, doctors, health coaches, coaches, business consultants, expert-based businesses, whatever kind of business you're in. Um, it can be really challenging to talk about what we do, to market what we do. Um, when your clients or prospective clients see the solution to their problem laid out in the way that signature assets do, they feel seen, they feel understood, they feel excited, they feel confident that you can help them. All right. So the power of signature is there are several, and I'm going to run through them really fast though, because I want to get to unique mechanism. The power of signature is it creates order out of chaos. It makes you feel very peaceful and powerful and organized about what you do. It allows you to talk about what you do with a lot of clarity and confidence. It helps you specialize and stand out in a really crowded marketplace, which is important to attracting clients. It creates kind of this really natural roadmap for your business. Like, once I got clear on what my signature system was, upgrade kind of was very natural and made sense. And then it made sense to create Align to Millions as the book. And then we'll do the Align to Millions challenge. Like, it just made an organic roadmap, because you can offer your signature system in a bunch of different ways. All right. It also positions you as an expert on the subject in a way that attracts in speaking opportunities and partnership opportunities. I don't know if you guys follow me on Instagram. If you don't, you should. But I was posting about something in human design the other day. And my friend Ophira, who's one of the Astro twins at astrostyle.com, posted in the comments, and we were having this conversation, and she was like, do you want to put posts? Do you want to start writing on astrostyle.com? Actually, do you want to write a book about human design? Because we would publish it. They publish a bunch of books. Literally, just by being out here teaching my own framework all the time, people are constantly inviting me to do awesome shit, right? It makes your marketing easier and deeper. I know a lot of you guys do not like social media because it seems so damn surface. You can't stand it. I don't do surface. So if you do nothing else but create a beautiful signature system and then go online and teach lives, just teaching a point of your system every day, your marketing becomes deep, it becomes organized, it becomes easier. Your lives can be about this, your live event can be about this, your book can be about this. Um, it keeps you super focused and more grounded and like not as susceptible to shiny object syndrome as you would be otherwise, because your lane, meaning your zone of genius. It's your system and you just stay in that. And if you build signature system and marketing assets and offers the way I teach you to, it will make sure that your work gets your people the results that they came for. All right. And that is important. It transforms what you do into something that actually really works and looks and feels tangible. And your clients then, like, your best fit clients love it because people love to know that you have figured this out. You are focused on achieving this result. You've already figured out how, and you have a process. All right. So the signature system is literally the flywheel that makes the engine of profit and transformation in any empire of the soul work. Now, I've always taught signature system And if you guys are in empires, I'm like, I build my plane as I fly it. So I will very transparently tell you and teach you as I evolve my own system and model. And as I have written this Aligned to Millions book, my models and systems and frameworks have just gotten so much clearer and deeper. So I've always taught signature system, and a lot of people are out here teaching framework. Okay. They'll teach you need a 3-point framework. It is true. I think you need a signature system, not just a framework. So the signature system is how you organize and communicate your transformational genius. The framework is just it's like the usually 3 to 5, but 3 is better, core ingredients of your transformational genius. These are like the levers that you pull when you do transformation work. Okay. I've always taught you also need a success path. There need to be steps of your transformational process that have action items, that have milestones, that have progress triggers, where each sort of step is kind of its own archetype. So for example, in empires, my framework is the Aligned to Millions method. Recalibrate, actualize, align, right? My success path is you start in experiment stage, you go to emerge stage, you get to engine stage, you get to empire stage, you get to enough stage. And there's like all this, intelligence that goes with each of these things, each pillar of the framework and each stage of the path. If all you're doing in signature system is framework and success path, I invite you to try on that there is a missing piece. Why does your process work to create the change that your people want when other things haven't worked? Okay. The missing piece of your signature system is your unique mechanism. Unique mechanism. Write it down. Unique mechanism. You need this third piece. Okay. Your unique mechanism is the answer to how your transformational process works and why it works when other things haven't worked. When your best fit customers have tried a bunch of other things to create this dream outcome and none of them have worked, and yours will, and your unique mechanism tells them why. All right. Your unique mechanism has 2 components. And this I'm going to use UMP and UMS, which I got from Stefan Grigori, who's a copywriting expert. And it's funny because he basically teaches unique mechanism, but he doesn't teach framework or success path. So I think everybody is teaching one piece of it and nobody's teaching them all 3 together. And I'm going to teach them all 3 to you. So the first thing that your unique mechanism requires is the UMP. It's the unique mechanism about their problem. I'm going to actually call it the contrarian epiphany that you have had about your best fit customer's problem. It's a thing they're not thinking about. It should be a small feeling thing, something like the small hinge that swings the big door open to the dream outcome they desire, but it doesn't have to be the whole, solution that you offer. It's like like in our business, the unique mechanism about the problem is your core trance. All right. And I'm going to walk you through my entire transformation arc in just a second. So you'll catch it. Just know first you need to have some level of a contrarian epiphany about your customer's problem. What is the piece of their problem that they've never understood until you help them understand it? All right. Then you provide a unique mechanism about your solution. That's what UMS stands for, a unique mechanism about your solution. And that reveals what you figured out about how you can address this contrarian epiphany that you've had about the problem and how your solution actually heals or fixes or addresses this unique mechanism about the problem that you're calling out. So, and also you really want to take the opportunity to reveal how their unique, the epiphany you've had about their problem um, is something that you have solved in your solution with a unique mechanism too. And then you want to reveal how that piece, just the unique mechanism piece of your solution, unlocks the gold in the rest of your solution, unlocks their ability to tap into the transformational power of the rest of your solution. Okay. And like, let me tell you, this works because deep calls unto deep. If you're tired of like, you don't want to sound salesy, you don't want to sound like those other people, you don't want to be slimy, you really just want to, and you don't even necessarily want to agitate pain points. You really just want to offer dream outcomes. You do have, especially if you're in a crowded marketplace or crowded industry, you do need to let deep clients, deep seeking clients, the ones you will love and who will love you, they desire to understand themselves. They desire to understand why all the things they've tried haven't worked. And it is a hook to them, to their attention, to their interest. It's captivating to them. It kickstarts a lifelong love affair with them. If you can teach them something about themselves and show that you've thought this through already, you've figured this out already, you have a solution. All right, so I'm going to give you my example. It's Soul Tour's transformation arc, okay? So if you're in Empires, you're going to hear a bunch of the different pieces I've already walked you through in the Clarity curriculum. You're going to hear them as I talk this through, and I'm going to be quick. All right. So someone comes to Soul Tour, and we might say something like this, or a sales page might say something like this. Is your business like attentional transformation entrepreneurs? Is your business smaller and strugglier than you know it really should be? Like, you have greatness within. It's like the work you do is great, but your business still feels too small or too struggling, right? Well, their dream, that's kind of the hook, and that's the problem that they have. And the dream outcome they have is building the empire of their soul. But so often they think the problem that they have, and here's where we start to get into epiphany land. The problem you think you have is procrastination, perfectionism. You think you need a better marketing strategy or a better business model. You think you need new products and offers, or you think you just got to figure out some kind of way to get people to buy what you're selling. Maybe you think you need more visibility. You need to be posting on social media more, or you need to be more consistent. These are all words I've heard out of my best fit customers' mouths. And I'll say, but the problem you actually have is an upper limit problem, right? What I'll say is the only 3 reasons you haven't built the empire of your soul yet are that what you're trying to build is not in alignment, how you're trying to build it is not in alignment with your true self, or you keep hitting your upper limits, spiraling down into shame or self-sabotage, and then it's taking you a really long time to get yourself back up. All right? Well, the first 2 of those are alignment problems. And the last one is an upper limit problem. And at the root of all 3 of those problems is your core trance. Okay, this is my unique mechanism about the problem. And I might then take an opportunity to teach them a little about the problem. What is your core trance? I made that phrase up, your core trance. What is your core trance? So this is, you can see it's branded and unique to me. Your core trance is a fear-based thought habit you've been thinking for at low grade, steadily in the back of your mind, maybe since your very early childhood, right? And I might take a moment to teach them about, how we're domesticated to perform and conform and produce to get love and attention and approval when we're very young children. So we start shoving parts of ourselves away, right? These are fear-based thought habits. And they kind of worked for you when you were little. They kept you safe. They got you approval. They got you care. And, little humans actually need love and approval and care for their survival when they're very young. But over a lifetime, that core trance, that fear-based thought habit, could be fear, could be scarcity, could be unworthiness, could be trauma. And over a lifetime, that thought habit coalesced into a harsh, hindering complex that has been placing an electric fence around your business and your life. You can't see it, But every time you try to take a step into your expansion or your radical alignment, the struggle switch flips, right? And it results in, and your core trance keeps you in your upper limits. It keeps you in reaction mode. It keeps you reacting to culture's definition of success. It keeps you setting goals that, if you succeeded at them, would fill your days up with shit you hate, so you don't succeed at them. You keep one foot on the gas and the other foot on the brake. And your core trance has been keeping your business smaller than the business wants to be. It does that. It manifests in a bunch of ways. As long as you're under the influence of your core trance, you'll undercharge, you'll over deliver. Maybe you'll do things the hardest possible way. You won't get as much staff help as you need, or you will get staff help and you will not learn to delegate very well to them. You might reinvent the wheel in your marketing or your products. You'll do manual launch after manual launch instead of building assets in your business. You might do copycat marketing. You might do baby rattle marketing. You might have marketing paralysis entirely, right? You might blow your whole shit up every year and keep recreating new shit. Procrastination, perfectionism. You might be overly polished or self-conscious. It will limit your core trance, limits your capacity to receive help. And the reality is, you cannot build anything big and great in this universe alone. And all of these ways of self-sabotage are rooted in your core trance. Your core trance is like a log jam, right? I've told this story before. You guys have heard me, where if you got a bunch of logs flowing downstream, sometimes one big one gets crosswise and it will hold everything up until somebody comes by and knocks that bad boy straight, and then everything else will flow. Well, that's how your core trance is. And I know, because I lived this story. I had businesses that were smaller and strugglier than they should be. And I was doing all this work, because I'm a spiritual person, on fear and on scarcity and on unworthiness. And it was beautiful and it made me a better person. But when I actually realized I had a lot of trauma that was active in my system, I went way deep and integrated and recalibrated and woke up from my core trance of trauma. And within a year, in a month, my business 4x'd in revenue. All right. Now, because when you wake up from your core trance, you can kind of see your magnets, and you can see the moats that you're putting between you and the right clients. You can see your play small patterns. It heals your addiction to doing shit hard. You get off the treadmill. You recalibrate your nervous system. You may expand your capacity to receive help. And then you can begin to learn who your true self really is, now that you're not under the influence of that trance. And that allows you to implement the Align to Millions method and start creating a business that's truly in alignment with your true self. And then I would walk you through the steps of my system. All right. And that's the Soul Tour unique mechanism. The unique mechanism about the problem is the core trance. The unique mechanism about the solution is recalibration. Everybody else out here is teaching you, start setting goals and taking action on those goals. And I'm telling you, you've got to recalibrate first, or else when you do take action, the shit will start hitting the fan. Because you've set goals that aren't from true self level. All right. So the unique mechanism, does that make sense to you as an example? Those of you guys with transformational businesses, I'll just say that the unique mechanism about the problem is usually something that everyone else in your industry is overlooking, but you don't. And the unique mechanism about the solution is usually a special formula or some piece or component of your framework that is uniquely yours. Now, I've taught this to individual clients, and they almost all go, "Oh, I don't have one of those. I got to go make one." I don't want you to try to make one. I think you probably have one. And you just don't know what it is yet because you haven't been calling it that. So I want you to really envision yourself as finding it, not making it. All right. Now, if you're in empires, go back to the signature system visualization in the clarity curriculum, the last lesson, and tune into what's the thing that you do that nobody else does. Whether you're in empires or not, ask your best clients. Ask if you haven't even gotten paid yet, but you've been doing this work for free for people. Ask them what was unique. What did you say to them that nobody else had ever said before? What did you see in them that no one else had ever seen? If you're in empires, look at your pain to bliss arc. Look at your journey map. And whether you're in the program or not, these two questions help. Okay. Ask yourself this: what important truth about the problem you help solve do very few people talk about or agree with you on? What important truth about your work do very few people talk about or agree with you on? And then the second prompt is this: what is the problem your best fit customers think they have? And what do you know the problem is that they really have? All right. All right. All right. I'm going to wind down, guys. As you know, or may not, some of you know, some of you don't know. I know we have people here who have not been in my world too much, so welcome. An empire, you keep hearing me talk about an empire. An empire of the soul is just what I call a highly profitable, highly transformational, alignment first business that also is a vehicle for its founder to fulfill their most sacred potentials and their most delicious dreams. My company, Soul Tour, is an empire of the soul. It's my third 7-figure business. And I've helped dozens of other people, clients, partners start businesses like this over the last 15 years. Every empire of the soul is built on 4 cornerstones. All right. It's built on let me actually look at the same slide. It's built on empire energetics. This is like your alignment first commitment. And it's all the metaphysical principles and universal laws of creation that mean you can build an empire without swinging the hammer. They're built on your empire code, which is your unique transformational genius and spirit and personality as codified in your sacred money archetypes and your human design chart. So we talk and teach a lot about human design for business in Empires of the Soul. It's built on your signature system, which is your unique mechanism is one piece of that. And it's actually built on you, right? You as a thriving maverick, you march to the beat of your own drum ruler who builds an empire, through empire energetics, not hustle, through universal law, through self-mastery, through daily rituals, through a process of dissolving your self-sabotage and healing your money blocks, right? Not through swinging the hammer, not through moving the mud, not through hard hustle, right? And so your signature system, your empire, the way we teach this, your empire code begets your signature system, okay? And your signature system is sort of the golden thread that connects who you are to your best fit customer and the particular transformation you create. And your signature system then is the flywheel that powers this engine of profit and transformation in your business, built on signature marketing assets and signature offers that are so transformational, people literally love to say yes to them. Okay, so I invite you, if you're interested in coming into Empires of the Soul, or if you're interested in coming into our life and self-mastery program, you should click that link in the chat. Come to soultour.com/breakthrough call. You will book a call with Lori White on my team, who is a possibility spotter extraordinaire. And she can help you figure out which program you belong in, and she can help you figure out a payment plan. She can help you. Sometimes she'll be like, actually, you just need like a half VIP day with Tara, or you should be in a longer process or whatever. So come on in. Book a call. Yes, Janon. Hi, love. It's been a long time. You for sure need a robe and scepter. 100%. Sheila, you do not need to have a following to have a signature system. In fact, your signature system is how I will show you how to get a following. Yes, Tempest, it was awesome. And the twins are the best. Ophira is my homie. She read my chart like 10 years ago and literally predicted my life now. And also has a wild memory for charts. Like she literally remembers everything in my chart. she'll email me and be like, "Girl, it's a Scorpio eclipse, so you need to be like," it's hilarious. She remembers everything. All right, all right, all right. Simone, if you think you may need to be in Empires, my love, you probably do. We would love to have you there. Oh, I haven't mentioned. Some of y'all know I'm moving to Portugal. My move date currently is set for July 4th. Empires, we will have some sort of live in the flesh experience for people in Empires and in LSM, probably at the end of June on the West Coast somewhere. We're trying to book the space right now. So if you want to work with me in person before I go to Portugal, you should get into Empires and Life and Self Mastery right now. I only get to leave Portugal once for like 6 months after I move because of my visa. And that once is already booked for upgrade in the fall. So there's not going to be a whole lot of other stuff or a whole lot of other salons or whatever. If you want to come in person and get in the room and it's a vibe in the room, um, book your call with Lori and let's do this. Let's make it happen. All right. If you had questions that I did not get answered, I have to run because I have a VIP day to go do. If you have questions I didn't get answered, just email them to support@soultour.com and I'll try to answer them. All right, guys, I love you. I'll see you soon. Keep your head up and your heart out.